Hello,
Greetings and
everybody. Greetings and
salutations.
salutations. Welcome back to another episode of the Back of the Pack podcast. As you can see, we're starting the nonsense already. I am your host, Kyle Walker. Thank you for tuning in. Back by popular demand. You guys asked for him. I still don't know why, but you have requested the return, and here he is. Everybody, Kody Dyke. Welcome back to the podcast, sir.
Thanks for having me, Kyle. It's always a pleasure.
Uh-huh.
And it's always after a long run too. Why do we do this?
Okay, well, let's jump right into that because today was a long run for one of us, not both
Yeah.
of us. So we had the kickoff 5K this morning, a football themed race, which our hometown team that was just voted the most hated team in America is going to be playing in next week. So I'll just not mention that for fear of losing viewers and ratings. But yeah, so we did our little 5K. I did a 5K. Why don't you tell everyone what you did today? Genius.
Uh, Something really foolish.
Uh-huh.
I woke up at 4 and jumped on the treadmill since it was raining, did about 9 miles there. Met up with a running friend of ours, Katie, and she did 7 and like a quarter miles with me. Barely made it to the finish line, or the start line, I should say, in time for them to blow the starting horn, and did the 5K and then a little extra mile after that. So that totaled 20 miles, and it was wet and cold and just so much fun.
Yeah, so much fun. So I told everyone last week that we'd be recording at the finish line, yet the Mother Nature did not cooperate with that today. So the kickoff 5K was cold, windy, and rainy all at the same time. So we elected to let everyone go home, shower, maybe rest for one of us, and then do this over Zoom session. So how are you feeling after your 20 miler?
Honestly, I feel all right. My ankles are a little sore, but I went and had some a big breakfast afterwards, some
Mm-hmm.
eggs Benedict and a pancake, and that was really, really nice, and a cup of coffee. And I was kind of curious who you're talking about rested. Did you get some rest?
Did I get rest? Oh no, I never get
Yeah.
rest.
Well, I
No.
tried, and I had two dogs jumping on me, and they would not allow me any rest. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to get up, and here we are.
Yeah, yeah, and exactly right. So, tell everyone what you're training for because this was your long run. So, what do you have coming up? I think we've talked about it before.
Yes, this is the last of the longer, well, the longer runs
Hmm.
until March 2nd and 3rd, I believe it is.
Yep.
And it's a little race called Little Rock. And they got some little finisher medals. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, yeah, just real tiny finisher medals. Bam. I
About the
can't
size
wait.
of my head. And I got a big head like you, Kyle.
Yeah, I kind of called myself out on that one last week, didn't I? It's like, oh, people who see me on film now they know I have a big head. Not that it's really hard to hide, but hey, you like the new hat? Look at that. Look
Yeah,
at
they're custom, I'm sure.
they absolutely are custom. But that's going to lead me to my next thing. I want to give a shout out to the people who did my hat. If you saw it on Facebook, Quick Customs Personalization Emporium, guy I've known for a long time, runs that down in KCK. So if you need anything personalized, like a hat with the new Back of the Pack logo on it, again, I like supporting local people and small business. So I just wanted to throw that out there. So
Did they do the shirts too?
no, they did not do the shirts. The shirts we did ordered, although he would, and I think for future shirts we might have to go down that route. To
Those shirts are awesome, dude. I mean,
Yeah,
I was excited to get one anyway. And then when I got it and opened it up, I was like, holy moly, these are going to be really nice to run and train in. So
yeah, yeah. That was.
shameless plug there for you.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, no, that was a big deal. Like we runners, we know how it is. We're very snobby about our shirts. And if you have a
Yeah.
shirt that you feel like you can't run in, you don't wear it. And I want everyone to be able to wear Back of the Pack podcast shirts. So we make sure we got some decent ones for this first go around.
I didn't know this when I first started running, but chafing's a real thing.
Oh,
And I would always run in cotton shirts. And I'm like,
mhm,
why am I so miserable after these runs? And then I think it was Plaza maybe
mhm.
2 years ago. I got my first, whatever they call that, material, something tech, whatever,
Oh, like the
and
dry tech.
trained in that and ran in that. And it was like, oh my goodness, this is night and day difference. And
Yeah.
I refuse to run in anything other than that anymore.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you at all. It used to be a lot of races would just give out the cotton shirts. I think moreover, people are going to the more dry tech, more sport athletic materials, which is great. If you want us to wear your shirts out and about, the cotton ones sit in the back of the closet. The dry tech ones, like I'm wearing right now, those see a lot more action. So
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I mean, any dry tech shirt, if it's dry tech, I stop getting shirts first of all
Yeah.
because I have so many. But any dry tech shirt that I see, if they post it, I do get one of those because I train in them and I absolutely love them. I have 4 or 5 now that I just keep on rotation. So
And what's funny is most of the people who have met you know that's completely ridiculous because you finish almost every race topless. You
you
let
like
your
the
inner.
outfit today?
No, you didn't today. Well, today you had on your Marty McFly life preserver that you were wearing. I don't know what that was. It was Chiefs though, so that was good.
So ironically, so okay, this is a quick story here. So when we made that first Super Bowl back in 2019, 2020, we went to me and my buddy went to Walmart and we saw those vests in the women's section, ironically. And I was like, dude, you should totally get that. Wear it with some cut off Wrangler jeans, like some like Daisy Dukes,
Yep,
and just like
yep.
make a Super Bowl outfit out of it. And he was like, no way, dude. He's like, that's totally you though. And so I did. That's exactly what I did. I bought a cheap pair of Wranglers there, and I bought that vest, and I wore my cowboy hat with my Patrick Mahomes hair, and my
Stop it. You stop it
my
now.
quarterback's hair,
Uh-huh.
and I did an epic Super Bowl entrance. I pulled up in my truck, and I slammed a beverage, and I said, "Super Bowl 54, baby, let's party!" And it's just been like a Super Bowl tradition ever since. And
It was vitamin
so,
water. That's what he
yeah,
slammed. Vitamin water.
it's exactly not a sponsor, but yes, that was exactly what I drank.
Yeah.
Um,
If you want
so
to
yeah,
talk to us,
now I'm
vitamin water though, we're right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I'm just a guest, but I'll do something for you guys.
Right.
But yeah, I've had
Well,
a
yeah.
lot of requests. I'm going to Vegas next week
Yeah.
to like look in the stadium. I guess I'm not going to go in it because it's way out of my price range. But
Right.
they want me to do my friends want me to do another Super Bowl entrance next week. So we might have a little something put up on Facebook next Sunday. We don't know.
Well, yeah, I did see the I guess it was the original from a few years ago that got reposted just this past week on the old Book of Faces. I was going
Yep.
to ask you about that, but you beat me to it. I think the cowboy boots were a good touch with the Daisy Dukes.
I
That was
forgot
well
about that.
done.
Yeah, I even had a bandoiler full of different beverages and of vitamin water that I
Uh-huh.
wore around that day as well, and a Chiefs flag that I carried around. I was like the ultimate Chief, like a super fan for like a microsecond. It was kind of fun.
Yeah, hey, I like it, and if you can do that down in Vegas, then even better. Yeah, that will be
It wouldn't be
awesome.
out of place on Fremont though, from what I hear.
Oh no, you'll fit right in. Trust me. Just when you're there performing for money, you have to stay inside the little circle on Fremont Street. That's how they know you're a performer. So stay in the little circle and you'll be just fine.
That'll probably be the only way I bring money back from that place. So
Yeah, otherwise they just take it from you.
yeah,
Oh,
they're good
geez.
at that.
All right. Well, so like we've talked about, and this is kind of why I wanted Kody to come on today, because I had this thought one day when I was out running, and because of the Chiefs and their success in the Super Bowl, a lot of people are learning about our new running back, Isaiah Pacheco. And the thing about Isaiah Pacheco, whenever he runs, everyone talks about how he runs angry. He runs like he's mad at the ground. And I thought about that and I kind of tried to internalize it into our little running world. And like, you know what? I like that because so many times we hear about run happy. You know, that's a lot of the other websites they use run happy. And I was thinking, how many times do we actually run happy? Or how many times do we run because we're angry or because we're hurt or because, a loss or stuff has gone down in life? I just wanted to talk to someone else and find that balance because honestly, while run happy sounds like a nice catchphrase and slogan, more often than not, I don't find that myself. So, Kody, what about you? Jump into that, dissect however you would like. What do you feel about the whole run happy thing? I'm going to cough clearly.
Yeah,
Woo!
so I mean, I've I've found myself in a plethora of emotion while running. You get the happy runs, you get the race day vibes where you're just
Yeah.
in a good mood, you're around your buddies and you're there, you're performing well and it feels good. And then I find myself often in like during the week in a it's not really an emotion, but I call it a lazy run. And that's kind of an emotion for me. I'm like, I'm just going to get through these miles. And then so recently I found myself where I've had to run angry. And part of that was because of the loss of my dad. I
Yeah.
lost him in December. And that I mean, I turned right around that next weekend. He passed away on Monday, and that Saturday we had a run in downtown Lee Summit, which thankfully was local. It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
And it was a mix of emotions, but mostly anger because you lose somebody at such a young age when you think you have so much life left with them.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously have the sorrow and the grief, but there's a lot of anger and a lot of question marks behind it. And it's a different run because you lose yourself in it. You find yourself just running and hitting those miles, but then the miles are just going by so much faster. It's kind of like, so there's like two times in my life, or two times in my day to day, where I find like miles just flying by. And that's one, when I have good conversation, like when you and I ran Rock Island together, like that race just flew by for me, even though it was miserable. It was like 197,000 degrees
It was
outside.
so hot.
Yeah, I had the minimal amount of clothes on that I could possibly wear without being arrested in public. But that conversation just carried me through the miles. And the same thing with like running angry. You just zone out and you focus on the emotion, and you don't feel the discomforts in your legs or your knees or the out of breath. You just kind of, and I understand why Isaiah runs like that. He's got a checkered past, and not like behavioral wise, but where he comes from, and just that emotion of like, no one's going to stop me but me is kind of the same feeling a lot of, at least that's the way I feel when I run, with a lot of anger or a lot of fire.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I like how you put it at the end there. No one's going to stop me but me, and I think we have that mentality a lot, where whether it be like you've got the full marathon coming up, your very first full marathon, and there's gonna be a point in that race where you're gonna have to make that decision to keep going because everything else is gonna want to stop. And so that is, I have to find the strength to keep going. And whether that be you go to a place of, happiness or excitement of finishing, or to, anger, or I'm not going to regret this, or I didn't waste all this time and money come down here. I think a lot of it is that mental aspect. They do say running a marathon is 90% mental, only 10% physical. Because physically, we know you can do it. You just knocked out 20 miles today. But there's going to be a point in that race where you're going to have to find it within your own headspace on how to get that kick to finish the race. And so I know for a lot of people, like for me, it was running angry every day, because I picked this up after a divorce, and there's no way you put that happy face on a divorce. There was no run happy. I was pissed off, and everything that I did at the start was to really just to show myself and other people, and of course, in my own warped little mind, I was showing my ex-wife that I could do these things. That me, as a very lazy person that I used to be, with playing softball once a week, I could run a 5K, or I could do a 10 or a half or even a full. So I don't know. I just, for whatever reason, when I was on that run, that whole run happy thing popped in my head, and I thought, you know what? That's really not always the case. And again, I've seen things that you've said before, that we've talked about before, where even people in your day-to-day life can kind of let you down, and that can affect your run. And so I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there and get someone else's, thoughts on the whole run happy thing. Where do you find, though, that you get the best result? Is it running happy? Is it being just, inches away from a complete breakdown? Is there a little happy, a little spot in the middle where, I don't know, you can tap into a memory or a feeling, and that helps drive you through? Where's kind of the spot you want to be at when you're on a run?
Yeah. So I was talking to Katie about this today, and I'll be completely upfront with you. I don't like to run. It's not fun. It's torture every single time I put my shoes on. It is torture, but I do it because it challenges me. And not the same as your origins of running, but mine were similar. I started running because my friends were all settling down, and we went from hanging out at my place or going out together every weekend to not seeing each other for maybe once a month. And that set a fire in me, and I was just doing the same thing. And everybody else, all my friends, all these guys they're moving on, and they're getting married, and they're starting their families and all this stuff. And it did kind of make me angry. It's like, what's wrong with me is kind of the way I was feeling. And when someone had said something about running a marathon, I mentioned this before, I thought it was crazy, but the more I got to thinking about it, it's like, that's a challenge. Why why not challenge myself with it? And so that's what my origins kind of started at. And I didn't really run angry necessarily that first time, but the reason I was running was because I was angry. I was angry with my circumstances. I was angry with myself. Um, and it turned into more elation and happiness the more I grew into the running community around here. But and I think so. I'm going to apologize again on behalf of me and probably you. You probably can echo these sentiments about the Energy City post race interview. Part of that was me running angry that day because I was injured and I had all of these,
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, I guess goals where I was doing these back to back to back to back half marathons. And then I had the 30K series shortly after that. And it kind of pissed me off that I'd hurt myself. And it's like, what the hell's wrong with you? You take care of yourself, and so that was part of the reason that maybe a little bit of emotion came out in that race. It was nothing directed towards them. It was more just kind of disappointment in myself, disappointment and just the circumstances and stuff like that. But there's a balance there because, like I said, some of my best races are the races where I'm running with somebody and we're just having a conversation and it's a good time. You got good crowd support, you got good swag, cool, pre and post race productions. And then there's other times when you don't want to be there. And, I echo your same sentiments as well. As if I signed up for this thing and I towed that start line, you're going to have to drag me across that finish line because I'm not getting off that course until I'm done.
That's right.
Like, it didn't matter if I'm crawling or you're carrying me or dragging me. I'm crossing that finish line. I'm going to get that medal, and then I'll go rest up and figure it out after that, pack myself together, whatever, needs to be. But there's been many times where I'll get halfway through a race and it's just like, you gotta finish this out. That kind of today was a really good day for me. I was pretty elated throughout most of that race, but when I crossed that finish line, I had 1 mile left. I was like, just get it done, and a little bit of anger spark, a little bit of anger, a little bit of drive. I think drive kind of stems from anger too.
Yep. Sure does.
Just that I'm going to be the only one that decides that I'm done today. You know what I mean? Nobody else is.
Right. No, I think it's important because I know a lot of people can have, I guess, more negative feelings when they're running, much like what we're talking about here, and they'll frown upon it, or they'll be like, oh, I'm supposed to be, thrilled about this, or, run happy or whatever. And I just, I thought it was important to get out there that that's not always the case. And that is not always every person's journey. Both of our journeys did not come from a starting place of happiness. It was not happiness at the start line of this race called a running career, and it's okay. And I think if I had to sum up everything, I want people to know it's okay that whatever emotions you're running with, you're taking those and you're putting them in a very constructive outlet. Like you're trying to take whatever you're dealing with and you're putting it towards health and mental health and physical health and recovery and whatever, when there's a hell of a lot worse things you could be doing. So this is kind of an episode for anyone who is maybe a little fearful of, man, why am I so pissed off? I'm supposed to love every second of this. They say run happy. Why am I not running happy? That's not always going to be the case, and it's okay. So I think that's one of the biggest things. Right.
Like that. I'm serious. Like, there's races where you just have a good time and you're zoning out and it's a vibe, you know what I mean? Yeah. But most races are a struggle. And I think that's part of the draw to the running community, right? Is if it was happy and easy and Lucky Charms and unicorns and rainbows all the time, everybody would do it. It wouldn't be 1% of the population that are marathon finishers. Everybody would have done a marathon already. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so there's most races that I have, there's that point in time. It's that voice in your head starts like, oh, I'm sore. Oh, I don't really need to go for a PR today, or I really don't need to try to finish under 30, or, whatever that may be. Right. You set a goal before the race, and there's always that self-doubt that creeps up. And I've been listening to David Goggins' book a little bit, and if you want to accomplish that, you got to stop listening to that voice, and you got to keep going. You got to have that mindset of, like I said, no one's going to stop me but me. I'm going to be the one that determines my outcome, and part of that can be anger, and it's a useful tool if you know how to harness it the right way.
Yes.
Now, if you overdo it, you can obviously run angry and just completely gas yourself out in the first 25 feet, but but finding that balance, of still enjoying the race and enjoying the pre and post and all that good stuff, and then also running angry when it comes down to it, That's part of it. You know what I mean? I
Yes.
always tell people happiness comes after. I'm never happy when I'm running. I mean, there's times when I'm happy when I'm running, but most of the time, I'm not happy when I'm running. That happiness comes after when you have that sense of accomplishment from what you just did.
Yes. Yeah, I definitely was not happy when we made that left turn today and saw the hill that we had to go straight up. That made me very unhappy at today's race because I was cruising along great until that darn hill.
I was trying to get everybody prepared for that. I actually, what's funny is 16 or 17 miles before that race, that first mile of the race was my fastest mile of the day. I ran 9:15 on that first mile. And then when you caught up to me, I had got a call from work because I'm on call this weekend,
Yeah.
and I had to walk for about the next half a mile. And I was talk about running angry. I was very angry at that point in time. And once I got it all sorted out, I ran pretty angry to that finish line. But yeah, I was trying. We were going down that hill to the corner. I was trying to tell us, hey, here comes the hill, everybody. You better be prepared. And we
Yeah,
turned that corner, and it's a good hill. It's a
that's
really
good
good
one.
hill.
Yeah.
It's what, probably a quarter mile of 10-degree incline.
Yeah, it's pretty steep getting up that hill. I'm just glad it was only wet out there, not icy or slick.
Yeah, that's no
People,
joke.
yeah, people have been sledding down that thing.
Well, in my goofy butt, I got off the treadmill and basically put some clothes on, tried to change clothes, and then got in the car. And I was like, oh, it's not too bad out here. And then when I got to the start line to meet up to do the pre, I was like, oh, this is actually really cold.
Yeah.
And then I realized it was 39 degrees and drizzly. So,
Yep. Yep. It was all of those things, but
yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
at least you got it done. And I can't speak for what emotions you'll be feeling in Little Rock, but I have a pretty good idea how you're going to be feeling when you finish that race. You
Are you,
started to map that out in your mind, like holy crap, I'm like 4 weeks away from being a full marathon finisher.
yeah. Yeah. It's insane how fast it's gone by.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if, I mean, I'm ready, obviously, but just like, that emotion, because don't go out like an a-hole, you know what I mean, and all that emotion of your first marathon gets to you. And I'm gonna have to keep reminding myself, like, slow down, just
Yes.
run a very deliberate pace, kind of like you did in Memphis. I was
Absolutely.
watching you on the tracker, and I was like, he is running like dead nuts. Well, I think it was like 11 and a half minute miles or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember exactly what your pace was, but you were like every single mile up to like 24 was almost the exact same pace. I'm like, man, that is exactly what I'm trying to do at Little Rock.
Well, it only took me 13 years and 10 full marathons to finally figure out how to pace myself correctly. But, on your first, I'm sure you're going to be fine.
Hey, I'm pretty happy today. I kept a pretty even pace. I was actually
Yeah.
slower on the treadmill. I ran about 11:49 splits. And then for the rate or for the following 11 miles, I ran right at 11:30, and I was like, man, I
Perfect.
kept a really solid pace all the way through those 20 miles. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping to do something right around there, finish at 5:20, 5:30, whatever. I don't even care, to be honest with you. I just want to
Yeah.
finish. So
Like I say,
are
finish
you
in
running
that
the full
race.
down there with me?
Do I now?
Are you running the full down there with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep.
Well, we might be running together for a little bit, buddy.
And we're both foolish enough that we're doing the 5K the day before, right? We're doing the challenge.
Well, I say I'm going to walk it, but I know how that goes.
Liar. Lies. He
Yeah,
tells
yeah.
us all lies. Ain't no way you're walking that. But hey, we've got 24 hours to recover. We're gonna be fine.
Yeah, we'll be good. It's
Yeah.
not a big deal.
But I think the Back of the Pack podcast is going to have a table at the Little Rock Expo. We've reached out to them and are trying to get that set up. So that'll be
That is
fun.
exciting.
Yeah, you can come work the table on Saturday when you're bored after the 5K.
There you go.
Let me go
Is
use the
it
restroom or something.
is it a 2-day expo?
Yes, sir.
Friday or Thursday, Friday?
Thursday, Friday, or no, I'm sorry, it's Friday, Saturday because the
Friday,
expo
Saturday.
opens after the 5K Saturday morning.
That makes more sense than what I just said. So
Yeah, no, I've made the same mistake myself several times trying to plan
it's
out
almost
this
like they
trip.
know what they're doing.
Yeah, you would think they've done this once or twice. But yeah, well, there's going to be a good group of runners from Kansas City all heading into
Yeah,
Little
there
Rock, and
is.
hopefully people from all over the country will be coming. And I might have a few extra shirts with me if anyone would like to purchase one at the expo. Just saying, you could wear your Back of the Pack podcast pride. That was a tongue twister right there. I almost messed that one up, but
Say that 4 times fast.
I will not. I will not attempt. All right, well, tell everyone else what else you got coming up this year? Because you have gotten almost as ridiculous as I have. Actually, no. Well, so my Berlin trip almost cancels out one of yours, but I'll let you get to that one. So tell everyone where you're going this year for your running adventures.
Well, so before I think I know what you're hinting at. I'm pretty pumped about the month of May. We're going up to Lincoln and then come back. I'll do running with the cows, their 15th anniversary.
Yep.
Their medal is what sucked me in. I wasn't going to run that race again after last year, but their medal, I was like, oh, that's too cute. I got to have that thing.
I don't think I've
And
seen
then,
this year's medal from them.
oh, it's adorable. It's
Okay.
a 3-tier cake with a cow in front of it, and it says 15 on the candles. And I'm like, yeah, I gotta have that.
So Queenie the cow is turning 15.
Yeah. So, well, I guess before that, so let's back up just a little bit. We got the 3 halves up here for the 39.3 series.
Yes.
Looking forward to that one again. Big shout out to Liberty. They were on last week.
Yeah. Wasn't Julie awesome?
I mean, what's that?
Wasn't Julie awesome? She's good.
Yeah. She was. It's a love-hate relationship with that race. I love the swag and I love crossing that finish line, but that race, you want to talk about running angry. Those first 4 miles, I will be very PO'd, especially if it's 27 degrees outside. So
yes.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to the 39.3 series. And then month of May is all half marathons. Like I said, Lincoln, and then running with the cows.
Yep.
And then I go out to, I think it's Colfax that next weekend out in Denver.
Yep.
Looking forward to that race. And then I end in a little race called Fargo, which I think you're going to be at.
Yes, sir.
So we'll be up there together. Are you doing the full there, you said, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're insane. So
yes, sir.
And then I turn around in the middle of June and I get to go up to Anchorage.
There it is.
For the Mayor's half marathon.
Yep. So Anchorage, Alaska. I can't imagine how beautiful that's going to be up there.
Yeah. I'm pretty pumped up. I'm going to spend about 5 days up there.
All right.
Go on a couple of hikes probably. And I am signed up for the Marine Corps full marathon.
Yeah.
But I am going to defer to next year so I can be in that 50th run. And I'm pretty pumped up. Seeing that medal behind you every week makes me jealous. So
that's right. And that was their 40th. So the gold medal I have for Marine Corps right back here was from their 40th running. And next year is the big 50. And then I think I've told everyone about the virtual Marine Corps the year that Rona canceled it out. I was there, and in that medal is actual black sand from Iwo Jima inside the globe of that medal. So I can't imagine what Marine Corps is going to do in 2025 for that 50th anniversary. It's going to be something. I have no doubt.
I'm excited.
They're going to hit it out of the park. So
I'm super excited.
Yeah, I need to get registered for that and defer to next year just in case they do go back to a lottery system, which they haven't for a few years now. But for 50, all bets are off.
Yeah, there was talks of it. I heard grumblings of it. So I was like, I'm not even going to risk it because I'm already jealous. I'm missing out on Berlin this year. Well, to this point now, there's it's like a Hail Mary's chance at me getting in, but it's going to be doubtful. So I'll have to run like the 51st or something silly. I don't know. Who wants to go to 51?
Yeah, 51. That's nothing. Give us 50. We want the big anniversaries.
Yeah. So, and then I'm looking for, I mean, you twisted my arm hard enough. You talked about it so dang much. I'm looking forward to that registration opening for Good Life Habsy.
Yes.
Round out that series for Lincoln and then Good Life. That'd be pretty cool. Yep. So.
Yeah, the Capital City Challenge. Yeah, we're both doing Lincoln in May, and then you do Good Life Habsy, which is last weekend in October now. But yeah, totally worth it because I really enjoyed that time up there. And last year, that Capital City Challenge medal, that was pretty sweet. And you know me, I'm a medal whore.
Yeah, the one this year looks pretty cool too. I think they already kind of showed it. It's white, has a bottle cap or bottle opener on it. Okay. And it looks pretty cool. And then I don't really know. Fall is kind of up in the air right now. I need to map my calendar out with everything. I was kind of waiting on Berlin and then looking at Chicago, but I'd love to do New York and do 2 fulls this year if I can. And if not, I don't know where it aligns, but I'd love to go down to Tulsa and do Route 66 and do my first ultra marathon.
The world's shortest ultra marathon, which I still have that coin in here somewhere.
I'm looking forward to getting that.
So you mentioned New York, and I haven't gone over this yet, but the lottery for New York opens to enter your ballot, I think, on February 28th. So the end of this month, we all need to throw our names in for the New York Marathon. I'm absolutely throwing my name in. You throw your name in, and hopefully we all have better luck than we did with Chicago.
I might make an alter ego and throw his name in. I don't even know.
Absolutely. Just become someone else for a hot minute and throw in all the names. Yes, I am Chester McCheeserton, and I would like to
I
run New York, please.
I do have like 7 emails. I mean, maybe that'll work. I don't know.
That's true. Look at that. Well, if you win two of them, I get to be one of the guys.
There you go.
Yeah, I
There you
love how we're
go.
openly trying to find a way to get around their system right here for everyone to see. New York Marathon, you guys know I love you. I've talked about you so much that someone started hating me for it. So, again, nothing but love, New York. We love you. We love. Don't get mad at me. We're talking in jest here.
And we'd love to be up there. We'd love to have a booth at your expo.
I'm not going to say that I've already looked into that, but I might have already looked into getting a booth at the New York Expo because that would
You
be pretty
should.
fun.
You
Because
should. That'd be awesome. You
uh,
can get in there.
as
Just
long as
set your just
they don't overprice me, as long as I can
yeah.
afford it, yes.
Well, I was gonna say just set your table up outside the expo and be like, yeah, the expo's in there, but my name's Kyle.
If you walk the streets of New York, I'm not setting anything up outside. I may not make it home. It's there's some rugged parts of that town. Thankfully, though, every part that I went to was a wonderful experience. So I had no bad experiences my one trip to New York City for the marathon. They do
Yeah.
a good job. But all right,
Yeah, I was
well,
looking at that route and I was like, that's crazy. You
the New
run
York
through like
route.
3 bridges and over through the Bronx. And I'm like, yeah, wow, you're hitting all the areas.
Yeah, you go through all the boroughs, and again, every single one has a very different feel. Just a totally different vibe when you go from the Bronx to Brooklyn to Queens to Manhattan. They all just hit different. It's amazing that I've never felt an energy like I have at the New York Marathon. I've said it before 100 times, and I'll say it 100 more anytime it comes up. The energy in New York was just off the chain. So I hope
Yeah,
everyone will throw their name in and experience that, or try to.
I'm hoping to go. That would be amazing. I'd love that.
Yeah, well, I don't think it's an anniversary year, so who knows? Maybe we got a better chance. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, I think let's see. The next time I'm going to see you is Saturday at the Sweetheart Run. You're gonna go run a 10K. I'm just doing the 5. I may not be recognizable though. So we have a mutual buddy. His name is Andrew. You guys know him as the KC cosplay runner. He needed an assistant for the Sweetheart Run, and I volunteered. So you guys will have to come to the race if you want to see what Andrew has come up with for us to wear. So
Well, now I'm really excited.
right, see now who's not going to be there? They're going to sell out of medals 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, you guys ought to do the partnership thing that they were talking about the
Oh,
team.
that would have been fun. Oh man, missed opportunities on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. So we'll both be at that race. Then I'm running Sunday for 10K up in Independence, Missouri. You're going to Las Vegas. I do believe you win. And then, all right. So we're going to end it with this: the Super Bowl. Give us your prediction. I want the score, the winner, and the MVP.
All right. Well, in my opinion, we're playing with house money, so as long as it's close is all I care about. But if I'm going to give a score, I'm going to say let's do 33-24 Chiefs with Pacheco being the MVP.
I like it. Hey, that's perfect considering what we were talking about today. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I too am going to go Chiefs. I'm going to go 35-31. And it's the damn Taylor effect. Give Kelsey the MVP if we
Do
pull
it.
this out in Sin City. But
Go
yeah,
Taylor's boyfriend.
yeah, yeah, jeez. Again, I'm not angry at Taylor Swift. Not at all. I'm not angry at Kelsey. Not angry at T Swizzle. All the coverage. Can we just stop? Yes, she's there. Great. Super job. Congratulations. And if I was
Wow,
Kelsey, great move, sir.
it's
But
only 33 seconds a game. And I love seeing her.
that's not how
I'm
it
a huge
started.
Swiftie now.
Oh, jeez. Well, you and my 17-year-old would get along great. Because
I have
she,
like 5 friendship bracelets. I'm pretty proud of them.
my daughter noticed that today, actually. She absolutely noticed that and asked me, is Kody a Swiftie? I said, I have no idea. But she absolutely noticed those friendship bracelets.
Heck yeah, my coworker's a huge Swiftie, and she's pulled me over to the dark side. So
Nice. Nice. All right. Well, there you go, everyone. There is our final guesses for the game. Go Chiefs. Yes, I'm going to say it. We're local to Kansas City. I know you can hate us. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that our team's better than yours right now. My apologies. Oops. Maybe I shouldn't have said that out loud. But anyway,
I like
hey,
being the villain.
we definitely are now. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Back of the Pack podcast. I want to thank Kody so much for coming on. and I'm sure he'll be on again, especially since we've got several traveling races we'll do. So we'll talk about those, and we'll be back next week with another new episode. So everyone, have a great week of running, and we will see you next week.